Our first is the CEO of Moxie, Joel Lunenfeld, who's going to talk to us about what video games can teach us about marketing in real time. So Joel, welcome.
Super fast, I come in last. But just time for breakfast. Keep it true, forever blue.
Hello. So I'm going to talk to you today about a theory sprinkled with a little bit of self-promotion, and talk about a trend that we're seeing. So if we think about taking a stroll back in social media lane, it required the following skills. It required really shameless self-promotion, really shameless self-promotion, and a pretty face, right? So, side note, Ashton Kutcher has about 5 million followers. I've got about 300 followers. Therefore, I'm about 1/1600th as good looking as Ashton Kutcher. Do it yourself, figure out how good looking you are. It required a disregard for safety. The bigger you could fall, the more you can hurt yourself, the better. And it was every man's reality show. So if you think about social media 2 years ago up until now, it was really a reality show. And it was about getting exposure. It was about getting noticed. It was about getting a number of views, about discovering that one lucky person and promoting them and really making them a star. Lonely Girl broke my heart. Wasn't real. And anybody and anything could be viewed. So you had YouTube really emerging as our big brother, and all of a sudden we had cameras in everybody's rooms. We had the Confessional booth, made famous by such shows as recently as Jersey Shore. And you had Leave Britney Alone and their confessional booth. You had Facebook. Facebook is your real world. And the more inappropriate you could post, the more attention you can get, the more followers you can have. And how did you find your last job? LinkedIn is our apprentice. It really was this reality show. If you were an expert in anything, like cars and tuners, you can have your own version of Pimp My Ride. And it was like American Idol. Poor Sanjay. The goal was to become famous at any expense. It was about getting web traffic. It was about being discovered. And it was about, didn't necessarily require a talent, like all the cat videos that we have. And more or less, it's things that you just couldn't look away from. So today, I'd say if you're a marketer, and you thought about programming in the social media world, we thought of it like a reality show producer. What was that one person we could discover? What could they submit? What could we lift up? How can we make that one person famous for 15 minutes? Today, I would argue that marketers need to think more like a video game developer. So let's talk about video games. Why are we addicted to video games? It's really about the combination of fantasy and reality. People's avatars really representing who they are in the real world. And it's about going on a mission and generating points. It can literally be a game. So I'm sure we've all heard the Facebook stat of farm being the #1 word in Facebook stats in 2009, and billions of dollars generated. And what's our game controller? So if you just look in your pocket, this is our game controller. And if you think about the parallels of video games and marketing today, think about applications. They're our ability to power up. They're our ability to power up users. We give them tools, and we give them access to information, and we give them the ability to shoot targets. Anybody who's wasted hours and hours of their life in World of Warcraft can now waste more hours in checking in and becoming the mayor of all sorts of locations. Side note, I just got my Player Please badge last weekend, so I'm very excited about that. But we get these real-life experience points now. And trivia, so 1 versus 100, testing the knowledge of the masses versus the knowledge of one. That's our aardvark today. And your map, anyone who's addicted to Halo or any other video games knows that any good gamer needs their map. Well, Google is our maps today. And to gamers, anybody here a gamer? Anybody play Xbox? Stats are everything. There are sites dedicated simply to the stats that gamers have accumulated, their experiences on different games. And today, people have stats, and people's narcissism is expressed in stats. It's a great site and application, Ego, because you're important. You can track your followers, you can track your fans, your worshipers, whatever is next, you can track. And these are the things that we can lift up and show people just how important we are. And even expertise is a game. So you take review sites, things like Yelp. Yes, it's nice, people are giving reviews, but really the game is to become the best reviewer. There's no true altruism, and it's all about gaming the system and being the number one and showing everybody that. So how can we apply this to real-time marketing? When we think about how we put campaigns together, how we put programs together, I'm just going to give 3 pieces of advice and show 3 pieces of work and talk about some theories. This is some work that we've done for Fox Movie Studios with both movie releases and DVD releases. So the first piece of advice would be to customize content with levels of achievement, and most importantly, levels of public achievement. So there is definitely a lot of sharing that goes on in places like Farmville and Mafia Wars, and it's all about a social ecosystem, and it's all about making social obligations for you to respond to. Somebody plants something, you need to respond to it. If somebody wants to sell drugs in a certain neighborhood, you need to protect your turf. It's about public levels and achievement. So when you think about your marketing, give people, of course, always the platform to talk about their favorite topic, which is themselves. So, for example, when promoting the Prison Break DVD, we set up basically a prison ecosystem like Mafia Wars, and the ability to go in there and win different levels and achieve different statuses in prison and lock your friends up. And the clinical term for what we allowed people to do is shit talking, because that's what people want to do in social media. The next thing that's really important to do is to recognize these leaders and not just recognize them, but promote their stats, let people know that they are the most important, and leverage the influence of the pack, and if you can, tap into their network. So here's an example of a program that we ran for the movie I Love You Beth Cooper. I don't know if anyone's seen this, but it was all about a high school nerd on his last day confessing his love for the most popular girl in school that he sat next to forever. In trying to come up with a promotion for how to promote this movie, what we did was took that idea of having people confess their love for someone, confess something that they wanted to do in high school or in college. And rather than just have votes and have the #1 voted person win, what we did was we made it a game to have those people track down the loves of their past and reply with videos. And you couldn't just win by having enough votes. You had to have votes, you had to have views, and you had to have the actual connection back to your long-lost love. And there was actually a love connection that did happen from this promotion. They didn't win, but you know, they're happily ever after right now. So the last piece of advice, and I'm going to keep this even shorter than my allotted time, is very simple, which is don't create campaigns, create missions. So think about that. It's very different. We talk about two-way interaction, and we talk about the promise of this interactive medium, but never before have we really had the ability to quantify this two-way interaction and make it a mission. So we talked before about the mobile phone being your controller. For the movie Miss March, which was about somebody who had a brief and a premature romance with a woman in college, and then years later found out that she was a Playboy playmate, and of course, through regret, wanted to go back and find her. So in order to promote this, we had to target the 18 to 24-year-old male, the elusive target. So what we did was we set up a Comic-Con promotion where we created a video, and in this video you had 3 models that were going to Comic-Con for the first time to actually promote this DVD. And we had to think of a target to give our audience. So when you want to give people something to shoot with their controllers and you're looking for 18 to 24-year-old males, what do you think is the best thing that we could have given them to aim at? So we gave them a nice target and allowed them to find these models, take pictures of them, and then download content, which led to exclusive mobile content and purchases that were directly tied into Amazon.com. So I'm actually going to leave on this note and this image, and we'll see how long they'll keep this up here for. Don't create campaigns, create missions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you, man. Thanks very much.